Alright, so welcome back to the channel. We got more work to do on the Cobra. So first thing we're going to do, we're going to kind of finish up with our stuff in the engine bay. Last time we took out this air filter. It's kind of dirty. Not too bad, but we got something cooler. So what we're going to do, I got this K&N intake here. So instead of just being a drop-in, it's actually supposed to be like the actual exposed pod filter or whatever you want to call it. That'll be over here. It's supposed to be 50 state legal and everything, so nothing to worry about there. Let's see what it looks like. We got our stickers, our instructions, our little carb number. That's important for anybody out there in California. Some hardware, some gaskets, piece of weather strip to seal it off. This here's part of our filter. This is the actual base for it. And our heat shield. Sure enough, there's our filter. Alright, so really what you need is a couple of extra hands to be able to do this, but basically you get as the Allen heads, there's two short ones, two longer ones, because there's a couple brackets that's going to have you put on. So I started with the short ones, that way you just kind of get everything in order. Short one, and you have a little washer and a big washer. And then it's got gaskets on either side of this plate, and then this adapter goes on. Now, the thing that was the hardest to figure out is which way this adapter goes, because I mean, at a glance, it looks like it's just round, but it's actually offset for the bolt holes. So what I did, I ended up having it all apart, and I kind of matched up the bolt holes on this actual mass airflow sensor housing, so that way I can figure out exactly where it goes. Basically, shortcut is the short part, the part that's where it has the bosses on the very edge, goes on the bottom of your housing, and then the other side is on the top of your housing. Now we just got to put on the other brackets and get everything seated, and looks like we got a couple holes to drill in the apron assembly and stuff like that. Basically what we're doing is we're going to be kind of test fitting this in here. We're going to mark these holes where they are in the inner fender here, so that we can drill a couple holes, so that way it's mounted solid. And there we go. We got the intake all installed. Not too hard. The hardest part was just figuring out how all that stuff went together for the actual adapter plate and everything. After that though, not too bad. Alright, so we're doing the oil change, and it looks pretty clean under here for, being a almost 30-year-old car. But yeah, so we're gonna get ready to do the oil filter, and I don't know if you guys have seen these, but these I think are pretty awesome. Oil filter pliers, so that way, because they're always kind of hard to get after they've been on here for a while, hard to get off anyway. So you get these on here and you just squeeze them, and it just comes right off. So I'm trying a few different things. I really like these when I can use them. And don't you hate that when the oil just comes out of either the filter or drain plug, but it goes all over something else? Right now it's all over the steering rack. Oh, And here is something that you don't see happen every time, but this can really mess you up if you're not paying attention. Check this out. So when I took the filter off, the O-ring stayed on here and it was just stuck. So that is something where if you put a filter on with that on there, huge oil leak when you go to start it up. So yeah, look out for that. Alright, so we got the oil change, gonna start it up to make sure it goes to the filter and all that kind of stuff, make sure there's no leaks. But also, I haven't started it yet with the new coils and wires and stuff, so we're gonna make sure that works too. Alright, so far so good. Started up pretty good. It took a second for it to crank over because we had cleaned that throttle body, sprayed a bunch of carb cleaner up in there. That's pretty normal. In fact, you can kind of smell it right now too. Totally normal though, so good there. Now, we got a fuel filter we're going to go ahead and toss on. Once we do this, we'll put that strut tower brace back on here. We'll be good to go for a test drive.
I don't know, this might be a splash zone though.
Yeah. Alright, so we got the thing all back together. We're about to go out for that test drive, but I thought this was kind of cool. So the K&N filter kit came with this horsepower guaranteed thing, right? And so you think, yeah, okay, that's kind of cool. But the cool thing I thought when I was going through the paperwork is it actually comes with a dyno sheet that's based off whatever kind of car the intake is for. So like in this one, 96 Mustang Cobra, yada yada, and it actually has the horsepower numbers they got on that car. Now it's going to be different on every car, of course, but it's kind of cool that they actually include that. I haven't actually gotten one like that before, but thought that was cool. Let's go get this thing out there and see what it does. So I think that's a pretty successful test we got going on. Seems to make a bit of a difference in everything we did. So we did the intake, we did the coils, we did the wires, we did the plugs, fuel filter, and oil change. Things I'm noticing that it definitely seems to have like a smoother, when it gets up into the high RPMs, it has a nice smooth arc up there. It does seem to pull just a little bit harder. Maybe that's the intake, maybe that's just the coils. You know, I can't really tell for sure because I did it all at the same time. But it definitely has a nice smooth arc going up, and I do feel a little bit more power. I think at the high RPM, that's where I'm going to give it to the coils, maybe the wires too. And there's just a little bit more power. That's probably the intake. But it's all good. Make sure to like, subscribe, come back next time when we're doing some more stuff. And yeah, have a good one.